It's 7:05. I'll call the May 6th meeting of the Glendive City Council to order. If you'll stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Oh, so we had a little technical difficulty, but I think we're on. So Darcy, if you want to do the roll call.
Baker, Kuhn,
Yep.
Dryden,
Here.
Hedrick,
Here.
Hines, Mitchell,
Here.
Sassy,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Ambulance, Finance,
Here.
Police,
Here.
Public Works.
Here.
All right. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes of the April 15th, 2025 regular council meeting? Okay, Rick. Second, Betsy. All in favor of approving the minutes of the April 15th, 2025 regular council meeting, say aye. Next is old business. The ordinance committee met on Monday, April 21st. Do we have a report for that?
We should.
I think
If I
it,
can find it.
I think it's kind of close to the beginning.
Is
That's
it?
page 4. Yep.
Okay, here we go. The ordinance committee met on April 21st, 2025 at 4:00 in the council room. In attendance, Mayor Dion, Director of Operations, John Center, Public Works Director, Frank Cian, committee members, Clyde Mitchell and Betsy Hedrick, Ranger Review, Brendan Heidner. On the agenda, number 1, review of new ordinances. The discussion, the committee met to review updates to the ordinance volume. The bike ordinance was discussed in detail. The recommendations, the committee recommends the full council discuss the bike ordinance. At this time, the committee advises leaving in the bike ordinance in the code book as is to avoid additional costs. However, when future ordinances updates are needed, the bike ordinance, particularly the fee section, should be prioritized for revision. The committee recommends the council approve all proposed changes to the ordinances. An emergency resolution will be introduced to adopt the update codes all at once. This process will require both a first reading and a second reading by the council. Additional notes, the mayor mentioned she would draft a letter to local realtors regarding the placement of signs in the boulevards. The letter will inform them of the relevant ordinance and serve as a reminder of the current ordinance 11-4-2. Public comment was asked for, none was given, and we adjourned at 4.
Well, thank you. Is there any discussion about that before we move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
On the signs in the boulevard, is that a concern too, where people have fundraisers and then the college puts their little sandwich board signs out too for the ball games and things like that?
Well, I know where those are. They're off the sidewalk for the ball games.
Right.
But some of the realtor signs are out in the boulevard, and we've had a battle with some of the political
Right.
signs, and it is an ordinance that they can't be there. So I did send the letters. I sent them today. So I'm asked them to move the signs off the boulevards.
Just for clarification, they should also not be on the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, sure. All right, and then the next item is personnel committee. We don't really have much, but
We met at 409 here in the conference room. Thank people were present. And the agenda item was high school job for set for April 28th. It was high school auditorium in Paradise. Betsy attended. There's no public comment. Adjourned at 4:13.
okay, I'll just say that Betsy couldn't make it, but I did attend a job fair at the high school. And I think that the students should be praised for how well behaved they were and how professional they acted. And I was kind of down the hall, so I got to, nab them first. Anyway, we did get 3 lifeguard applications just at the job fair. And then I got one more from the job service today. And so we're interviewing 2 candidates for the pool manager tomorrow. So I think it was very productive to go. I think we will get a few more lifeguards. It looks to me, for just rough guess right now, I think we've got 16 kids interested. And we're opening the splash park tomorrow. So summer's here. Anyway, so that was what happened at the high school. All right. Is there any public comment? No one signed up, but I don't see that we have anyone. All right, we'll move on to new business. Could I get a motion to approve ordinance number 05-2025, which is the emergency ordinance to adopt the city code book? Okay, and a second? Mike? All right. We will have discussion about this right now. So I'm not sure if anybody really has looked into this at great detail, but the reason that we're doing an emergency ordinance is so that we can adopt all these ordinances and we know what book we're dealing with. So we're doing an emergency ordinance, but an emergency ordinance only lasts 90 days. So today when we do the emergency ordinance, we can waive the second reading at this time. We'll need a 2/3 vote of the council to pass it. And then we will need to come back and we'll need to post in the newspaper a public notice about this ordinance. And then we will bring it forward to the council and we will have a public hearing and 2 readings. This is the way that the codifiers recommend that we do it, because while you're waiting for that second reading, that's a 30-day waiting period, and you need to know what code book you're working out of, because we do have a few different ordinances. So I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but I'll read the ordinance 5/2025. It's an ordinance enacting a code of ordinances for the city of Glendive, revising, amending, restating, codifying, and compiling certain existing general ordinances of the political subdivision, dealing with subjects embraced in such code of ordinances and declaring an emergency. Whereas the present general and permanent ordinances of the political subdivision are inadequately arranged and classified and are insufficient in form and substance for the complete preservation of the public peace, healthy safety, and general welfare of the municipality, and for the proper conduct of its affairs. And whereas the acts of the legislature of the state of Montana empower and authorize the political subdivision to revise, amend, restate, codify, and compile any existing ordinances and all new ordinances not heretofore adopted or published, and to incorporate such ordinances into one ordinance in book form. And whereas the legislative authority of the political subdivision has authorized a general compilation, revision, and codification of the ordinances of the political subdivision of a general and permanent nature, and publication of such ordinances in book form. And whereas it is necessary to provide for the usual daily operation of the municipality for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the municipality, that this ordinance take effect at an early date. So that is basically the background. Then we have to read sections 1 and section 2. So section 1 is the general ordinances of the political subdivision as revised, amended, restated, codified, and compiled in a book form are hereby adopted as and such shall constitute the code of ordinances of the city of Glendive, Montana. Such code of ordinances as adopted in section 1 shall consist of the following titles. Table of contents. Title 1, General Provisions. Chapter 10, Rules of Construction, General Penalty. Chapter 11, City Standards. Title 3, Administration. Chapter 30, Mayor and City Council. Chapter 31, City Officers and Employees. Chapter 32, City Court. Chapter 33, Organizations. Chapter 34, Elections. Chapter 35, Law Enforcement and Public Safety. Chapter 36, Finance and Revenue. Title 5, Public Works. Chapter 50, Garbage and Refuse. Chapter 51, Water and Sewer Systems. Chapter 52, Water Regulations. Chapter 53, Pre-Treatment Regulations. Title 7, Traffic Code. Chapter 70, Traffic Regulations. Chapter 71, Parking Regulations. Chapter 72, Recreational Vehicles. Chapter 73, Trains. Chapter 74, Traffic Schedules. Chapter 75, Parking Schedules. Title 9, General Regulations. Chapter 90, Nuisances. Chapter 91, Nuisance Control. Chapter 92, Fire Prevention and Protection. Chapter 93, Parks and Recreation. Chapter 94, Animals. Title 11, Business Regulations. Chapter 110, Amusements. Chapter 111, Peddlers, Itinerant Merchants, and Solicitors. Chapter 112, Alcoholic Beverages. Title 13, General Offenses. Chapter 130, General Provisions. Title 15, Land Usage. Chapter 150, Building Regulations. Chapter 151, Public Ways and Property. Chapter 152, Trees. Chapter 153, Radio, Television, and Wireless Communication Facilities. Chapter 154, Flood Damage Prevention. Chapter 155, Zoning. Next comes the parallel references, which reference the old codes, and then references to Montana Code Annotated, references to prior codes, and references to ordinances, and then index. So the thing that I goofed up was the bike license. This was something we were going to take out, that it says all bicycles must be licensed. I do feel that some of these other things are okay because they kind of explain that people should be not riding on the sidewalk, how to emerge from an alley. But we did talk about the bike license because, you know, we do have a lot of bikes that seem to get stolen around here, and maybe having a license might help. I did look online, and there's some bike licenses that stick on a bike with a little metal thing, and they have a tracker on them. But they get kind of expensive. And so I guess my thought is, if somebody wants to put a tracker on their bike, so when it gets stolen, they can find it. They're pretty cheap. And I think people might just be able to do that themselves. So, you know, rather than try to make something work that we were going to remove, I just recommend that we take a look at it. The next time that we update the ordinances, it's chapter 72, and for now we can just strike it, and or we can just ignore it because it isn't something that we were enforcing as far as bicycle licenses. So I don't know, is there any other discussion about it? I feel like I do all the talking except for Mike. All right.
Trying to get clarification for me here. Apologize there, but so just a couple things. Everything in between what's not here is already status quo, which are part of the codes.
Well, what's odd, Mike, is the way that this is now arranged, according to the codifiers, this is the standard way. So you skip from Title 1 to Title 3 to Title 5 to Title
Okay.
7. So that's actually how it is. And then chapter 1 is now chapter 10. So it starts at chapter 10. So we do have a lot of examples of this book. If anybody wants to see one, we got 15 copies. So that there'll be one in this room for the council and for any of the public that wants to look at it. And then, of course, I have one, John has one, every department will have one. And if we adopt this today, then this will become the code book that we will be referencing. So it is going to be some changes.
Okay, yeah, can I just follow up?
Sure,
So then,
sure.
today, the council here will take action. The motion's already on the table.
Mhm.
So after action, and let's say it's positive for the codes, and then that's what we will have to enforce, so to
Mhm.
speak. But we will also have, did you say 2 public hearings?
Well, 2 readings.
2 readings,
Yeah.
1 public hearing, and during all that process, then obviously things can change.
Possibly, if
Possibly.
somebody has an issue or anybody has an issue, we'll take it on at that time.
Right, I mean, not that I foresee it particularly, but if you, anytime you have a hearing, I would hope there's a possibility of change, otherwise we're kind of diluting the public, but anyway, so what I'm saying is we're adopting this as an emergency tonight, and then we're gonna end up going through the process where it'll be adopted. If everything goes affirmative, then more or less, no, I don't know about permanent, but in a long-term sort of way. then.
Right, because an emergency ordinance is only good for 90 days.
Okay,
So that's why we have to follow through with the first and second reading. So is there any objection to having one emergency reading at this meeting? Okay. All right, then, because it is an ordinance, we do have to do a roll call vote. Is there any other discussion before we go to the roll call vote?
Mitchell,
Aye.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Sassy,
Aye.
Dryden,
aye,
Baker's not here. Coon.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 6-4, 0 against.
All right, great. Well, okay, now we'll move on to the next thing, which is to get a motion to approve resolution 3173. It's an amended resolution for an additional water project loan forgiveness funding. So what it is you have it in your packets. And I guess you'll get a motion first and then I'll talk about it. So we got Mike
so
and
moved.
Betsy. All right, so this is seeking $480,742 in loan forgiveness from water project through the DNRC. When we were doing the water projects, we had to take out another loan for $480,742. And the DNRC forgiveness statement says it means a written statement delivered to the borrower by the DNRC in response to a compliance certificate and request that the borrower's obligation to repay the principal of the Series 2024 A bond or the Series 2025 C bond is forgiven. So that's what we're asking for. It gets into all the details of the funding, and I don't think I need to read the whole thing for you guys because you can all read, but Are there any questions about it? Probably Frank or John, which might be able to supply a little more information if you guys have any questions about it. I'm pretty excited about it. It's almost $500,000 forgiven, which is a big deal to me, so I'm very thankful.
Just one
Yes.
thing, yeah, just a question, Mayor. So this is for work on the projects we've already completed.
Yeah.
And so, was this part of our original plan? And was this part of the original plan? It seemed like it was to me, but
Well, we can hope.
yes. Okay. Thank you.
To get maximum loan forgiveness is always part of the plan.
Yeah.
Any other questions about it? It's kind of good news, so. All right. Well, it's a resolution, so we have to have a roll call vote on that too.
Thompson, Sassy,
Aye.
Dryden,
Aye.
Baker, Kuhn.
Aye.
Hedrick,
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-4, 0 against.
Okay, thank you. The next item is just an FYI. We hired Joshua Jonas as the police captain effective May 12th, 2025. And we're all very happy about it. Seems like he'll be a really good fit. And then the next thing is another, just a FYI, on May 15th at 5:30 at the Epic, there is the public meeting on the floodplain issues, and it's really important for the public to attend. So I doubt that you can pick this up on the camera, but this is an ice jam on the river from 2019. And I'm not sure if you guys saw the article in the paper, but it is kind of important because according to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Glendive has the highest life safety flood risk in the entire Omaha district, which covers 6 states. So the levee, which was built in 1959, is not certified, and it is not going to protect us against a really serious flood. So if we're able to get this passed, it's paid 65% by the Army Corps of Engineers, and with the city and county splitting 35%. So we have some help there. And we're raising it up 3 feet, and it will be 9 feet wide. So I am asking that it be paved so it can be part of our trail plan. It'll be a 2-mile paved levee. I have some pictures of a paved levee that I visited, and looks kind of like that. I could pass those around. So I'm hoping that this all pans out and that that's what happens, but it's really important for people to hear the solutions and to speak with the experts and to ask questions. So I encourage everybody here to attend. Again, it's next Thursday at 5:30 at the Epic. We're going to provide some kind of snacks, so maybe that'll get more people out. But anyway, that's the only thing that I have, is just that FYI that we really hope the public will attend. So any discussion about that, or does anybody have any questions or?
Just a question, Mayor. So I assume the county commissioners will also, I don't know that, does the court just run the meeting, or do the city and the county have a role in kind of?
Well, I think we're going to have one person there from the Omaha office, and I think we're going to have hopefully a person from the DNRC, and the commissioners will be there, and I'll be there, and Kristen Smith from Headwaters, that's been behind a lot of this planning, she'll be there. So it sounds like there'll be a presentation from the Army Corps of Engineers, and then people can ask questions. So, I mean, it's an opportunity to hear it from the horse's mouth. And with all the things going on, it's kind of hard for people to travel in government, so we were lucky that they can come. At least one guy for sure, so I don't know. I think that this is a big deal. It could really affect people's flood insurance, and it could really affect our growth. If we could do this, it would be a 2-mile levee, 9 feet wide, maybe paved. People could jog on it, push wheelchairs on it, maybe have benches. So I'm looking at it as a really positive thing for Glendive, and it's a way for us to move forward with growth and also safety. I mean, I didn't know until I had gone to a couple of these meetings that we have the highest flood risk in the whole division with our levees. So it's really important. All right, well, then we'll move on to, could I get a motion for the accounts payable claims of $508,596.08?
So moved, Mayor.
Okay, and we got a second from Betsy. All in favor of approving the accounts payable claims, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now could I get a motion for the April payroll of $346, $551.90? All right,
So-
Kevin,
Second.
and seconded by Mike. All in favor of approving the April payroll, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the department head comments. Mr. Center, do you have any comments?
Just an update on the budget. So, mostly with all the departments to start developing their operating budgets for next year. And we've also been working with our accountants at Bailey to get a preliminary list of the capital purchases that people have submitted for next year for us to look at. And they will also be providing us hopefully in the next week or so with preliminary personnel budgets for every department, and also with preliminary revenue projections. And that will be nice because then we'll have the full picture, everything from revenues down to expenses and how it all kind of shakes out. And after we get those things, then all of the department's business areas will have a chance to go through them, fine tune them, adjust them for changes or things that have come up since we've given the accountant the numbers. But I'm really happy with where we're at. Like I said, the next couple of weeks will be busy pulling all that stuff together from the accountant, getting the big picture.
Good news.
Yes.
Yeah, John, a lot of information in the newspaper about federal grants. That doesn't seem to have a big impact on our finances or revenue. Or do we have positions and departments that count on federal grants to maintain what we have at this moment?
Generally, no. Like the 911 area gets the state grant. Is that right, Jen? From the 911 system each year. We have smaller ones like the STEP grant, like police, which I think are also state. Unless it's like a big infrastructure construction project, it's probably not going to be federal money. Now, with that being said, things like this loan forgiveness, sometimes they come from DNRC, but they're actually federal funds. So in our case, we've been awarded the contract and stuff. For next year, where we don't have any large infrastructure projects that we have grants for, I don't see the hesitancy at the federal level is going to have any impact on us.
Okay.
There is a small thing, I should say, the Penninger Park
right?
grant that still remains out there.
It's frozen. We've been
Yeah.
approved, but the funds have been frozen. So I did get a message from them asking if we wanted to stay in this group or if we want to withdraw our application and resubmit it with the next group. And I said, we'll just stay in this group and hope that the funding becomes available. That's for a study of the erosion issues at Penninger Park. So we've been selected, we've been approved, but then the money got frozen. So
Thank you.
that's all, that's the only one out there, I think, Mike. Okay, Mr. Cian, do you have any?
We'll start with the flood.
Yeah.
So then, if anybody has any questions prior or after, feel free to call me after the call with it. So it's started. So no fair share about it. So you might have noticed a week ago we replaced that valve on Berry Street. So there's that patch there that's rough and it's fixed. We will be hopefully getting that fixed tomorrow. We've been fixing and painting up our roll-offs that we have. So they're gonna, you'll be able to see them. You'll recognize them. We'll be cleaning up the parks. Cleanup week was just a little over $1,200 that we wrote for that, $1,226.63. Fixed the backwards tennis courts. You got Facebook. Well, with that. We started getting the pool ready, getting it cleaned up, ready to go. So we're ready to move that direction. We've been blading and cleaning up alleys. Park bathrooms are ready. We're still working on folks over here in the side of the river, but we're working on all of that. Splash Park, as of this morning, is non-operational, so we will be opening that up soon. My intention is to have that supposed to be warm this weekend, so hopefully by Friday for sure we have it up and going, possibly even soon. And street patching tomorrow. You'll see that very underpass, and then from there, hopefully do the potholes. We're gonna, instead of just filling potholes, we're gonna do some square cutting, and so we tried it last year instead of just filling potholes. We cut them out, squared them up. It makes it a little easier to do the bigger piece of equipment to do the work, and just to kind of see how the factors are rolled up. They hold up a lot better. Not going back and just so it's kind of our plan, to do a little bit more of that this year. Yeah. Water truck's up and going, got new tires on the backhoe, had to replace the ram on the backhoe. We've been busy. Anybody got any questions? We got new signs sitting in the shop too. So if you're out that direction, I just picked them up, this weekend. I went and picked up the oil for patch repair and put the signs up. So we got those and they're up already. They look good. The signs that were up on the city shop were very old, looked very bad. So they're new. They look good. Look as they should. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Frank, you see that the summer crew, all things being equal at this point, would be the same size as traditional. I mean,
As we were last year.
okay.
Yep. Yeah, that is our plan. We're fully staffed right now. I'll be advertising the water treatment plant. We have someone making the 24th of this month. I believe that date's correct. Yeah, so 24th of this month, I've got someone leaving. And it's gonna give us a little overtime with the water treatment plant through the summer. Hopefully we can get someone hired and get them trained during that high volume time of year. It's a pretty fast pace around there, and there's a lot more going on. We kind of like to start them in the fall and ease them into it, but it doesn't hurt. Doesn't sometimes the right person, you throw them right into the fire and then they do fine. So we got that going on. Other than that, sometime through, we'll have hopefully we get plenty of summer help. Should we do?
Well, that they must have already received advertisements, what have you, to sign up, and that all's going on right now. Isn't it? The summer guys are,
We haven't.
summer,
had it.
or summer girls
We haven't
are,
had the advertising.
oh, okay.
Um, Yeah, to freaking start week. So we're it's looking good. You know, we're able to get summertime help here. Last year was the first year we actually had to turn some kids away, and that same situation this year. We had some really good workers last year. Yeah, with that going back, it's good. We were able to get a lot done, you know, sort of painting and just clean up stuff we did with weeds and all the hydrants, and we got a lot of work done last year. So we should be able to continue that with the same thing, which is
Any other questions of Frank? All right, how about you, Police Chief Mills? It sounds like you had an interesting weekend.
Been busy, yes. Been quite busy since the weather warmed up. Today, communication, Supervisor Moore and myself were invited to GMC to do a tabletop drill meeting, training with the GMC staff down there about mental health. And we were there most of the morning. It was just to make sure we're all on the same page and see how everything works on their end and our end. I thought that drill went quite well. We had monitors and people watching what we did and supported all of us very well. Smelters auction, we're gearing up to do another Smelters auction for bikes and so miscellaneous things. So, reached out to Frank. He has nothing. So if anybody has any file cabinets or anything that they need to get rid of, we can definitely put it on there. Just reach out to me. Starting next week is our police week. So we'll be honoring our police officers all next week. Officer Dunsmore graduated from the academy and she's back here working with us now. Our next officer will go in September. And so as of right now, he's our last one, but I know we'll lose another officer come August. So we have an officer position opening and still that part-time dispatcher. No applicants on either one. As the mayor mentioned, Captain Jonas will be starting with us on on Monday. Super excited to have him come and join our team. It's going to be quite a good asset to our department. Yeah, like I said, it's been quite busy. Our calls are starting to steadily go up. We're at 521 calls for service, 32 citations, and I don't even have a number for the felony warrants we've been running the last couple of weeks. So, what I have now, any questions for me? Yes, sir. Always.
Captain Jonas, then, Police Captain Jonas, he must have moved in from somewhere else. I was just wondering how much experience he had with our department, but he's new to us. Rosebud? Okay. Okay.
As a detective, he's currently a sergeant over there and has been supervising they have quite a big county and different small rural towns that they overlook. He's familiar with supervising investigations, all of that stuff.
So you see that the captain position kind of continuing what Captain Therian was doing?
Yeah. He has quite a bit of experience.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions for Chief Mills? No. Did you have anything, Mr. Rubus?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. All right, then in your packet is the Police Commission report. I will say that May is when we select a new member for the Police Commission. Ed Hilbert's term was up and he agreed to stay on. So if you see him, tell him thanks for that. It's nice to have that continuity. So anyway, the Police Commission report is in your packet. The March cash report, the April journal vouchers, although there were no journal vouchers in April. And then the April city court report. So the next committee meetings are the street committee on May 14th at 4 p.m. and the Fooper committee on May 14th at 4:15 p.m. And I don't really have much left of my mayor comments because I've already given you all the information, but I did send letters to the realtors, and we have also received some complaints about trailers parked on the streets. So we're just asking people to be a good neighbor and move your trailers. The rule is 5 days, you can have a trailer parked. So the police can ticket trailers that violate that city ordinance. So we're just asking people to be considerate and move your trailer. So some of them have sat there, they're saying all winter and didn't move, so.
And also not the street.
Well, that's maybe. So anyway, I guess that's all that we have, so we could make a motion for adjournment. Okay, all in favor of adjourning, say aye. Right, thank you.
Say, Mayor, I see the calendar, it shows May 9th.